Hey boys and girls, and welcome to today's math lesson. Today we're going to be talking about ways to make 10. So our I can statement is I can add and subtract within 20 by using strategies, okay? But today we're specifically talking about ways to make a number 10, and we're going to be working with our tens frames. So if you'd like to, I'd like you to get out your Big Ideas Volume 1 workbook, as well as your little tens frames cards that you have in your math toolkit. So they look like this. The little tens frames cards look like this. So if you want to, you can go ahead and get these out. You could get out your little beads or your counters, and you could work on this before when we're doing our practice, before you do it in like a notebook or anything like that. So anything we do today, you could use your tens frames as well as with your seesaw activity. So what we're doing today is we're going to show you tens frames, and then you're going to see how many more you'd need to make a 10, and we're going to be writing some equations. So for example, okay, I'm always making a 10, okay? So this shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 plus, I don't know how many, would equal 10, because this is a tens frame, so it fills the 10. So I want to see how many it takes to fill the 10. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see and count how many circles it takes to fill up my entire tens frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it takes me 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 more to make a 10. So 6 plus 4 equals 10. Basic, what I'm going over with you. The reason I'm doing this is because in the future, you're going to be adding ones to make a 10 or adding ones together. So it's really important to understand this more basic, simple concept of making a 10. Now you can see here, this says that I have 2, right? I have 2 circles, plus I'm not sure how many would equal 10. Okay, so this is kind of like missing add-ends, right? 2 plus unknown equals 10. I'm not sure how many is going to equal 10. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count up, right? So I'm going to fill in the rest of my tens frame. This would be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to count the blue circles, right? Because that's how many I added to 2 to get to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I miscounted, but guess what? I made a mistake and I went back and I double checked my work. I didn't just go, oh, that's 8 or oh, that's 7. I went back and double checked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it takes 8 more from 2. 2 plus 8 equals 10 to get to 10. Now, I'd like you to show this one on your tens frames and with your counters, okay? Show this one with your tens frames and your counters. And then I want you to think of the equation that would go with this one. So if you need to, go ahead and hit pause on the video. Build this with your counters and your tens frames. All right, so if I was writing this equation out, I would write this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus unknown. I know it's pretty easy because there's only one spot missing, equals 10, right? But I'm going to make sure that I pop my other color circle in there or my other counter, and that I know this is 1. So this is 9 plus 1 equals 10. okay? Now, if you'd like to, go ahead and turn to page 164 in your Big Ideas Math Workbook, which is volume 1. This is chapter 3, lesson 7. This is for chapter 3, lesson 7. So we're only going to go over a couple of these. This is basically what your seesaw activity looks like. You'll have tens frames with counters in them, with equations, and you have to fill in the missing number for the equation. However, so that's like the first 4. The second 4 will look like this, where you'll have an equation and there's nothing under it. That's because I want you to fill in the tens frame, and then you to make sure you fill in that unknown number. So I want to see kind of like with different colors, because you can do that on Seesaw. You can use different colors for the first number and the second number, and then your total is obviously the 10 from the tens frame. So that is what you're going to do for your activity today. So let's go ahead. We're going to go over the first 2. Whoop, it got mad at me. I was moving around too much. Let's see. Chapter 3. I apologize. Technology. Technological difficulties. It doesn't load in the next 1, 2, 3 seconds. That's long enough for me. All right. So what you'll have, okay, so what you see for number 1, and I have my book here next to me too, is the same one that we did with 9 plus 1 equals 10, because say we already did that. The next one, number 2, which we will go over together, number 2 looks, this is my tens frame, okay, and there are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red circles on the top. And your equation is 5 plus unknown equals 10. Now, typically how they show you, like when they do an example, is they do red and pink. I suggest you do red and blue because they're different enough, okay? So if you're doing it in your workbook and you're uploading it onto the template, don't worry about doing it in a different color because it's already in a color in your workbook. So just do it with your pencil. But if you're doing it on Seesaw, I recommend that you use black or blue or something of that nature. Okay, so now what you're doing is you're counting on, so you're going to add in the circles for these, and then you're going to count how many you added. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 plus 5 equals 10. Now, what I want to go over before I let you go, and before you get started with that Seesaw activity, I want you to go ahead and turn to page 165, okay, 165. And we're going to go over problem number, let's go over problem number 9, okay? So problem number 9 has unknown plus 2 equals 10. You're probably thinking, we've never seen an equation where the unknown was in the first position. That's right, you haven't. But you do know how to fill in tens frame. Okay. Unknown plus 2 equals 10. Now, it wants to know how many are left in that tens frame to fill up to get to 10. So I'm going to count my black dots, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It takes 8 plus 2 to get to 10. So for these problems where it's only the equation, okay, so like for problems number 7, 8, 9, and 10, but you'll have it different because it's a Seesaw activity. I didn't actually use the Big Ideas math book. You're going to make sure you draw the tens frame and put in your dots, okay? There might be, because I'm filming this lesson early, there might be a tens frame on there for you, so you don't have to draw one. Okay, so if you don't have to draw one, you just got to show the different colors with the circles. So for that first number, I'd use like red. For the second number, I'd use blue or a different color. Okay, if you need to, come back and rewatch this lesson. If not, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, boys and girls.